Thank you so much. All right, good morning, ladies. It's great to have you back here with us for our next session of the BIC Africa Acceleration Program for Women Entrepreneurs. Today, we are going to be talking about rethinking the business model. Christina, we can go to the next slide. Yeah, so welcome back. This is we're glad to have you here. You all know who I am by now. I'm Danielle Anderson of Step and Stone. I am a business coach and strategy consultant. I am your facilitator for this entire program and here to help you with whatever challenges you might have. So if you have questions along the way, if you're feeling stuck, if you need additional support, feel free to reach out to me and to let me know. I'm happy to help. So we are now going to do a quick check-in because we are halfway through the program. Can you imagine? So far, we've done 7 sessions so far. We have 7 more to go. And I would love to hear from you ladies. So jump into the chat. Let us know, what has been your biggest insight so far? What has been like the biggest thing that you've taken away from our 7 weeks together to date? Oh, wow, Marlene's in New York for a trade fair. It's 4:30 in the morning. Thank you so much for waking up before the sun and joining us this morning. That's super, super early. So let us know, what's been the main thing that you've taken away? Maybe it's been in one of the sessions, maybe it's been in the coaching, perhaps it's been in conversations with your mentor, or maybe it's even been with conversations with your peers. I remember last week we had a breakout session with Hamdi and Pardoza, and they realized that they had similar businesses and there might be opportunities for collaboration. So maybe there's been conversations that you've had with one another that have really sparked your insights. So let us know, what is some of the biggest insights you've had so far? Give you all a moment to type.
Pour ceux qui parlent français, qu'est-ce que c'était votre plus grand remarque? Qu'est-ce que vous avez marqué le plus en fait? Vous pouvez mettre ça dans le chat parce que là, on est vraiment au milieu du programme, donc c'est le moment de partager aussi ce que vous avez marqué le plus. N'hésitez pas à écrire aussi en français dans le chat si c'est plus facile pour vous.
Christina can translate for us if you want to write in French. You ladies are being shy this morning, huh? We'll get you warmed up soon. So Marlene shares it's her first training in business and she's able to reinforce the concepts and it's done in a different way, very clear. Thank you. You're welcome. Hamdi says collaborations. We already talked about collaborating on some projects and overall connections because before the program, we didn't know about each other. Yeah, I loved that conversation that happened last week between Hamdi, between you and Pardoza, because you're literally so close to one another, you in Somaliland and her in Somalia, and you're doing very similar things. And I think there's opportunities there for collaboration and further learning. Okay, feel free to keep typing as we go. Christina, we can move on to the next slide. So as I mentioned, we are now halfway through the program. So we are on our 4th training session today. We still have a load of things still to come between now and September, including a few more coaching sessions, a couple more training sessions, and also a final networking session at the end. So don't worry, we are still together for another couple of months, but I'm so proud of the progress that you have already been making in terms of, you know, developing your businesses further, making connections with the other women in the program, and really think like challenging your own thinking to date of what has been, you know, working for your business, what hasn't been working, and some of the changes that you've needed to make. So we are now on training number 4, which is around rethinking the business model. And our presenter for today, our lovely trainer for today is also called Chiara. Our normal Chiara is not with us today, but we have a new Chiara who's going to be talking to us about rethinking the business model for scalability. So you might have a business model that's working at the moment for something small scale, but you know you want to get bigger. So how exactly do you do that? Now, remember last week we talked about your unique value proposition and your go-to-market strategy. A lot of the conversation that we had last week is going to be very useful today, as well as we consider your business model even further. And indeed, what we cover today is going to be useful as we move into next week when we do our next coaching session on basic accounting and financial literacy. But more on that towards the end of today. All right. So without further ado, I'd now like to hand over to Chiara. So Chiara Burtini is with us to be our trainer, and I'll allow her to introduce herself and to take it away.
Hi, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So I just present myself very shortly, because then we can start with the module of today. So I'm Chiara Burtini. I'm from Italy, like in the north part. I live in Turin, that is a city in the north east part of Italy. And I will say I have a socioeconomic background. And what I like to do in my life is try to think and to shape new design ideas for social development and for people well-being. And so basically I try to do that in my daily work. I work in SocialFare, that is the first center for social innovation in Italy. And so basically what we do in our days is to try to design new solutions for develop social impact in our town, but also everywhere in the country. So yeah, that's more or less everything. If you have other question, I don't know, or maybe we can start and we can do it later. So I can share my screen. Okay, so can you see my screen now?
Yes, it's not full screen yet. Yeah, now it's perfect.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we can start. So basically, the topics that we are gonna see today are basically 3. So we will start talking about business modeling. So we will learn how to give sustainability to the company in the medium long term. And then we are gonna see how to design your business model. And then there's like a second part where we're going to see the social business model canvas, that is like a canvas that is very useful from your last lesson, because it starts from the value proposition until the next lesson, because it includes also like the economic and financial part. And so inside the social business model canvas, we're going to see also, we're going to do a focus about how to map your customers and your beneficiaries. And we're going to see some strategies and some tools about that. So we're going to start about the business modeling part. We're going to see the definition. So basically what a business model is and why is it important, and all the categories that there are in the business model areas, I will say. So I'm going to start with a question. I don't know if every one of you know what a business model is, or if you have an idea. Yeah, I think you can write it in the chat if you want, if you have any ideas.
Okay, so I can see next that wrote model business canvas helped me a lot to realize my business. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I think it's quite a good canvas because it helps you to keep all the information about your business all in the same place, all in the same canvas, so you can have a better idea of everything of your business in the same place. So Marlene is writing, why your company operate in the market, B2B, B2C, and so on. Yeah, exactly. If everyone else have other ideas, or I can keep going. Okay, so I keep going. So basically here you can see a quite formal, I will say, definition about business model. So basically, business model helps us to describe the value. So what you saw in the previous meeting last week. So that your organization provides to its customers, and it helps you to illustrate all the resources and all the activities that you need to create, to communicate, and to develop and to distribute this value and to generate profitable and sustainable revenues. And so here you can see an imaging, because it's important to think about your business with the business model as a circle in the middle, and around that there are different areas, different important things. So for example, the value that you see the previous week, so basically your value proposition, and then all the clients and all the people that use your services, your products, and all the resources that are quite a lot. So basically you can think about human resources, about economical resources, and all the activities that you propose that could be the production of your product, the research, the marketing that you do in your daily life, and all the costs and the revenues that basically represent how you're going to spend all the surplus that you make with your business. And so basically the business model helps you to create value, to capture value, and to distribute value. So basically today we're gonna start with the create value session that is trying to answer to this question, that is, what do we offer and how does it create value for the target? And then we're gonna see how you can capture value with your work. So basically, what advantage do we have and do we manage to sustain ourselves economically? And then we're going to see how to distribute this value. So how do we build, manufacture, and distribute it? But remember that when you work in a social impact organization, in social impact activities, there's also another things that you must represent in your business model, that is the impact that you make with your activities and with your daily work. That is basically what you saw the previous week. And so we saw what business modeling is, and now we can see why is it important, why it's very important to have a very precious and defined business model every time in your activity. So basically there are 4 reasons. The first one is that it helps to define strategies and different logics of the of how your organization intend to operate. The second one is that business modeling can help you to connect strategy to economic and financial data. The third one is that it helps you to identify critical aspects of your business. So for example, if you have some problem or some trouble. And the first one is very important, because when you have a very easy business model in front of you, you can use it as a test or to stress your model every time during your daily life. And the most important things is that business modeling and business model canvas helps you to give sustainability in the medium long term to your organization, to your business. And okay, so we saw why it's very important to have a business model, and then we can see all the categories that there are. So basically here in this slide, you can see 5 categories that are the most normal to see all around the world in the literature and in all the organization. So basically you can divide your business model in one or more than one of these 5 categories. So basically there's the B2C categories, that means business to customers. So it's basically when you decide to sell your product or to sell your services to final customers. Then the second one is B2B, that is business to business. And is when you decide to sell your product to different companies or different organizations. So basically not directly to customers. Then the third category that you can see here is B2B2C. That means business to customer. And it means that you decide to sell your services or your products to companies that act as intermediates versus the final customers. And then the third one is C2C, that it means customer to customer. So it's basically when you decide to facilitate exchange and sales between final customers. And then there's the last one that is kind maybe a bit harder than the previous others. That is B2G, that means business to government. Then is when you sell your services to public bodies. So I would like to stop a minute and to ask you a question. So I would like you to write in the chat if you want to, what categories you work in. So basically, what of these 5 categories is represent bestly your business idea or your business model? Just remember, it can be one, but it can be also more than one.
Oui, si vous pourrez écrire dans le chat, s'il vous plaît, lequel entre ces 5 types de business model correspondent à ce que vous faites.
Okay, so Marlene is writing B2B and B2B2C. Okay, perfect. Ines, B2B2C. Some B2C. B2B and B2B2C. Okay, so lots of you have B2B business or B2B2C business. Okay, perfect. Another B2C. B2C, but want to grow to B2B, B2C2C. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I think this lesson and also the next one will be very helpful for you if you want maybe to shape in a different way your business model or to develop it from a B2B strategy to a B2B2C strategy. Perfect. So no one that wrote in the chat have a B2G model, the government. Okay, another B2C. Okay, perfect. So I told you that these categories that we saw are basically the most diffused all around the world. So they're can be very helpful if you want to present your business to different people, to new customer. But as I said before, there's when you have a social impact activities, a social impact organization, it's very important not to think just to the more diffused idea of the business, okay, but to include also the impact part of your business. So basically, from these categories that we saw now, we can see. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, we can see also other categories that are more diffused in the impact sphere. And so there are different codification. So basically your model could be a product model, a solution model, a matchmaking model, or a multi-sided model. As you can see here, the product model, so the first one that you can see is basically standardized product or services that are paid directly by the beneficiary that use that, okay? So I can do an example for this. So basically, if you decide to improve, I don't know, like theater activities, okay, where you do, I don't know, social activities, all the people that are going to participate to these activities that will come to your theater will pay maybe a ticket, okay, to do that. So basically they are the beneficiary because they can see what you do and your service and what you provide, but they also pay you to do that, okay? And so the second impact categories that you can see here is the solution model, where you have customized products or services for each beneficiary and paid for directly by the same. The third one is matchmaking model. That is basically when organization act as an intermediary that could be physical or digital between the beneficiary and the customer, bringing together supply and demand. And the last one is multi-sided model. That means that organization offers different products and different services, also very different one from the others, and is one for the beneficiaries who doesn't pay, and one for the customer that are the people that pays your service and your products. So basically here you can see all the literature categories, so B2B, B2C, and all the others mixed with the impact categories. So basically you can see the product categories that includes B2B or B2C, the solution one that could include B2C and B2B, the matchmaking one that could include C2C, and the multi-sided that usually included the B2G category. So I have another question for you. So if you can write in the chat, what impact categories do you think is your business model is? So I can turn back to the other slides so you can see them better. Yeah, Christine, I don't know if you want to translate the question in French, maybe.
Oui, bien sûr. Oui, si vous pourrez aussi écrire dans le chat quelles catégories d'impact correspondent à vous. Et on peut dire c'est l'incidence, l'influence, peut-être si on veut traduire impact.
Yeah, I just want to say that Also, if you're not sure about what you're saying, you can also write it. That's not a problem, because these categories, these impact categories, are not very diffused and are not very common, because they're very used just in the impact area. So maybe it's a bit harder than before. Okay, so Marlene is writing product model and also song. Okay. And solution model by Ines. Yeah, I'm sorry for the pronunciation. I hope I'm saying your name the right way. Okay, so basically product and solution model, another solution model now. Okay, perfect. Okay. Yeah, I think when you, so basically when you start new business ideas, when you start to develop a new organization, it's a bit easier to start with a product model or a solution model. Maybe matchmaking model and the multi-sided model are a bit more complex. So maybe the today election and the next one, the next week one, will help you to try to understand if could be useful for you to change a bit your model, and so basically to pass from a product or a solution model to a matchmaking or to a multi-sided model. So maybe could be useful for that.
Chiara, there's a question in the chat from Marlene asking if you could give an example of the last two categories, so the matchmaking model and the multi-sided model.
Oh, okay, sorry. Okay. Yeah, of course. Yeah, as I was saying, the first two ones, so basically the product model and the solution model, are quite easier to understand. Maybe the matchmaking model and the multi-sided model are quite more complicated. So an example that I could do is, so for the last one, so for the multi-sided model, where basically organization offers different product or services, one for beneficiary who doesn't pay and one for the customer that are paying. So I can think about, for example, I could start to develop an organization because I would like to help maybe refugees people, okay, to find a job in their new country where they decided to live, okay, and where they came to live. And so basically I could do a website or a platform to do that, okay. And so basically my beneficiaries will be the refugees, okay, so all the refugees people, and they could use this program and this website to find a new job, and the service will be for free for them, okay. But on the other hand, I could work with all the agency and all the organization that work in that country or in that place, and they could register their organization on the website to help refugees to find a work. And I could ask organization that would like to subscribe to this website to pay maybe a monthly fee to sustain my business idea. I don't know if it's clear. If you want, I can try to think also to another example. And on the other hand, matchmaking model are organization that acts like an intermediary between the beneficiary and the customer, bringing together supply and demand. So basically, for example, where I work in SocialFare, we are a center, okay, for social innovation. And so basically what we do is to work for other organization. Okay, so for example, for the European Commission or for different private foundation that asks us to do different activities with different organization, different non-profit organization to develop the value, the social value of the city or of the country. So basically, we work with organization and with people that lives in this area, but we work for the government or for the European Union or for different foundation. So yeah, there's this this model on the bottom of the organization. If there are other questions. Okay. People get a little confused to see where this business fits in. Yeah, I imagine that. I think when you see that in the theory, it's quite hard to understand where you could fit inside. But don't worry about that, because now there's the second part of the morning where we're going to do all the business model canvas. And it's very easier when you have something very practical like Canvas, and you can complete that, and you can think about all the part of your business models. And at the end, we are going to see again all your activities, all your customers, and all the things that you put inside your business model canvas. And then you're going to be easier to understand in what categories you're going to fit. Okay, so I don't know if there are other questions for this part. Maybe not, because it was a bit very theory. So if it's fine for you, we can start with the second part of the lesson. That will be the social business model canvas. So what we're going to do is to see the definition. So basically, what is the social business model canvas? Maybe some of you know that, maybe some of you don't. And then we are going to see all the sections that are inside. So basically, how to create value, how to distribute value, and how to capture value. I just would like to say that we're not focused a lot on the last part, so how to capture value, just because you're going to see that the next week. So you're going to see the more economical and financial part the next week with the other mentor. So we are going to do it very quickly. But for now, we can start with the definition of the social business model canvas. So basically, it's a graphic scheme that is designed to describe the business model of your organization, and that allows you to do different things. So, for example, to visualize and refine your business model, develop new business model, or to describe the business models of competitors. This is very important because if you're in a start moment of your organization, it's very important maybe to do a competitors analysis and to see what's the market purpose and what there's maybe near you. And so business model could be very useful to do that. And then it is very important to communicate the business model to the work team, but not just for the work team, but also to people that maybe could help you with to finance your ideas. Okay. And what I would like to say that is very important, that is not a canvas that we're going to complete today, okay, but is a very dynamic document. So basically what is important for every organization is to have always a look at the business model canvas and to change it and to do it again to I'm sorry, I think there's a light problem in my office, but I hope you can still see and hear me. Okay. And so I was saying that it's very dynamic and it's a very open working document that you can update constantly every day. So I would like to share a video with you. I just need to change my screen share. Okay, so this one. Okay, can you see my YouTube page?
Yes, we see it.
Okay, perfect. So I start this video, it's just a 5 minute video, okay, so it's not very long, and it's a very good video because as you can see here is by the European Science Communication Institute that has all this video on their YouTube channel where you can see all the different parts of business model canvas. And this one is like an introduction of everything. So we can start seeing that, and you're going to see all the sections that there are in the social business model canvas. And after the video, I'm going to show you every part and how to complete every part.
The European project Rubismo analysed rural companies in 11 European countries to identify innovative business cases and their business models. Their mission: examine and pinpoint the keys to success, thereby inspiring others to do the same. Their research reveals rural innovation is tightly interwoven with entrepreneurial drive and innovative spirit, geographical location, and available supporting networks. However, many good business ideas never survive being faced with economic reality. Even with a valuable new product or service at the core, shortcomings in a chosen business model can prevent success. Rubismo uses a business model canvas to visualize the elements of success. This helps to collect, understand, and better communicate the ingredients that transform a business idea into a viable, sustainable, and scalable venture. The business model canvas uncovers the strengths, weaknesses, and potentials of existing and evolving companies. It can also be used to sketch out entirely new ideas, helping entrepreneurs to think of all the necessary parts for a successful business. One important key for a successful business model is to understand exactly who your customers are, their needs, and what keeps them satisfied. It's important to understand the value of your offer from the customer point of view. Thereby, you can improve your product or service and compete with existing solutions. Connecting with customers and an effective delivery to the customer is a growing area of challenges and opportunities. New technologies can enable direct contact between producer and customer, both local and even far away. Continuing to respond and support customers before, during, and after sales is an increasing expectation. Customer relationship management can be as important as your product or service and sets you apart from competitors. The value of your product or service that customers are willing to pay for will generate the revenue streams. But all business activities also involve costs. First off, identify all of the key activities that are necessary to develop, produce, and deliver your goods or offer. Test and refine with others to make sure all the necessary steps to start operation are in place and efficiently run. These key activities need the right resources to become reality. What skills and materials are required, for instance? The key resources of each business and their context can vary. They might be manpower, financial, natural resources, or technical equipment. In any case, securing access to key resources is crucial for your success. The same applies for the key partners a business needs. Consider how your business interacts and intersects with others. A strong network might include partners to help in management, recruitment, research and development, or investment. Still, some ventures just need the strong entrepreneurial drive of one single person. These activities, resources, and partners come at a cost. If you want to make a viable business, be sure that, in the long run, your revenue is higher than these costs. Only when all the elements are in place is it possible to get an overview of the total costs, revenue streams, and possible economic profit. Rubismo research reveals that sustainable businesses do not only have to be profitable, but often also generate value for the environment and society. Rubismo has analysed numerous rural companies from different sectors, including food and agriculture, bio-based value chains, and ecosystem services. These findings are made available and can be an inspiration for fresh ideas. But recognise, a successful business always requires your own personal twist.
Okay, this was the video. I now turn back to share my slide. Okay, you should see them now. Yeah, so basically this video was just an introduction about what the social business model canvas is, because this is the structure of business model canvas. So as you can see here, it's kind of divided in 3 sections that are what we saw before this morning, that are create value, distribute value, and capture value. And basically inside every one of these 3 areas, there are different topics, okay, I would say different areas. So basically inside the create value section, you can find the value proposition. So basically what you saw last week, and also all the segments part that we're going to see today. So basically all the difference between the customers and the beneficiary of your organization. And the type of intervention that you propose. So it's basically what is the format of your intervention? Is it like a service, a product, a workshop, or everything else? And all the channels. So basically how you are researching your beneficiaries and all your customers. And then in the second part is the yellow one, so basically the distribute value one. You can see that you can find the key activities, so basically all the program and non-program activities that you decide to propose with your organization. All the resources that you would like to use and you need to use to develop your organization. That will be financial resource or human resource or very technical resources. And then the last section, so basically all the partners and the stakeholders of your agencies or of your organization. And then there's the last part, that is the pink one that you can see, the capture value one, where there are cost structure. So basically, what are the main costs of your organization? The revenue part. So basically, how can you have some revenue for your organization? And then in the social business model canvas, there's one more section that wasn't in the video that I said before, that is the surplus. That is basically where do you plan to invest your profit if you have profit in your organization, okay? So basically you can decide to invest your profit in I don't know, to develop your business, to start new activities for your business, or everything else. So now what we're going to do is to see every section of this social business model canvas. We are not going to complete it now because we don't have enough time, but at the end of the lesson, Christine and Daniela are going to share with you all this presentation and all the canvas. So basically this canvas and the others that we're going to see after. So you can do it by your own, okay? And then you can write to me and maybe send to me all your social business model canvas so we can talk about them together. And we are going today to have a focus about segments because in the last lessons, so last week you saw how to create a very good value proposition, okay? And in the next one, so next week, we are going to see this part, so more the economic and financial part that we are going to talk about the cost structure and the revenue structure and the surplus structure. So what is important to do today is to identify, okay, your beneficiary and your customer, because you need to have them, okay? You need to have a very clear idea about who you would like to involve in your organization, okay? And what people should pay for your services and for your products to do the economic and financial part next week. Okay, so we start with the first part, that is the create value part. And that includes these 4 elements that we saw before. So the value proposition, the segments, the type of intervention, and the channels. So for the value proposition, it's very important to understand that is the description of the social impact that you would like to generate, that you're going to generate with your organization, and that basically is the ultimate goal of your project, of your agencies. And so something very important that I would like to say to you, maybe you know that already because you saw that the previous week, but when you have your social business model canvas, as I said before, is very important to use that every day or every month or every year, and to change that and to add things and to remove other things that are not real anymore, okay? So you can change always everything from your social business model canvas. The only things that is that must not change is the value proposition, because is the goal of your project, so it must stay from the beginning of your activities till your till the end of your work. And so so we can focus on the segments that are basically the beneficiary and the customers of your organization. And so basically in this section, what we should write is the description of all the beneficiaries that the project or the organization or your activities intends to serve. And so basically they are the people that are most impacted by the social problem you intend to solve, okay? And the beneficiaries that you decide to describe in this section are your target, okay? And so no project is able to help all the people, everyone in the world. So the target is the results of the segmentation process. And it's very important to have it because there's always this high risk in new organization or in new companies that is to trying to develop a new services or a new product and would like to sell it or to produce it for everyone in the world, okay? But it's very important to have a target that is very studied, okay? And I don't know, okay, I have a question for you, just a brief question. Have you ever heard about the empathy map? It's like a canvas that we use, this one that you can see here. If you have ever seen that, this is the first time.
Est-ce que vous avez déjà entendu parler de ces genres empathy map en cartographie d'empathie? ce qui est maintenant affiché sur l'écran.
Okay, Marlene said no. Okay, Alexander, no. Okay, perfect. That's not a problem. I was just curious about that. Okay, another no. Okay, perfect. So we can see it today. And so basically this instrument that you can see here, this canvas is called Empathy Map and helps you to target your beneficiary, but also your customer, because it's basically a canvas that can be used for both of them. So okay, I explain you how to use that and how to fit all the information that you have about your beneficiary into customer inside, and then maybe also with the presentation and with the business model with the social business model canvas. I'm sorry, and I can send it to you also this canvas, so the empathy map canvas, so you can use that to map your beneficiary and your customer. And so basically, the empathy map is split into 4 quadrants that are, as you can see here, says, thinks, does, and feels. With the user or the persona in the middle, the user can be your beneficiary or your customer. Okay, you can do for both of them. And so we can start with the first quadrant, that is the says quadrant, that contains basically what the user says out loud in an interview or in other usability study. At the end, you're going to see an example, so maybe it will be a bit clear, okay? And a tip that I would like to tell you about the says part is that ideally it contains verbatim and direct quotes from research, okay? The second one is things, and the things quadrant is the one that helps you to capture what the user is thinking through the experience, I would say. So basically, you can ask yourself what occupies the user thoughts and what matters to the users. And a tip that I would like to give you about the things part is that it is possible to have the same content in both says and things part. However, pay especially attention to what user thinks, but maybe not be willing to vocalize. Okay. Then there's the other quadrant, that is the does one, the third one. And that includes the actions the user takes. So basically from the research, what does the user physically do? So how does the user go about doing it? And then there's the last one, the fifth one, that is the user's emotional state, that is often represented by the adjective plus a very short sentence for context. And the tip that I can give you about this part is ask yourself what worries the users, what does the users get excited about or worried about, and how does the users feels about the experience. So here you can see an example, so maybe it will be a bit easier for you. So as you can see here we have an empathy map that is an example about buying a television, okay? And so basically here our user, so our persona is Jamie. And what Jamie says is, I was expecting something different. I want something reliable. What do you think? What size is the best? What do you like? Where should I start? These are all questions that you could use to map your beneficiaries and also your customers. And what Jamie thinks is, why is it so hard? Do they think I'm stupid? What is best for me? There are too many acronyms. I want something awesome. Wasting too much time, maybe it's not the best. And so what Jamie decided to do is to check the website, to list pros and cons, to do more research about it, about to find a new television, to make small decisions, to observe television in stores and to ask friend an opinion about that, okay, and to compare different products. That could be your product and the other organization product. And how Jamie feels is a bit fear, a bit inadequate, a bit anxious, but also excited about that, excited about to buy a new TV, and a bit overwhelmed about that, and unsure who to trust. As you can see here, I know that this example maybe not fits exactly to your business idea, okay, because it's not very social impact example, but I think it's very easier to understand, okay, because maybe it's an activities that more or less anyone know how it works, okay. And it could help you, because when you do like an interview, or you just map your beneficiaries and your customers, you can use all the questions that you do to them, sorry, to trying to complete this empathy map, okay, and to have a better view about the fear, the emotional part of your customers, and about what they do, about what they search. And it can be very useful for you to shape in a different way your product or your service. Okay. So I don't know, maybe if you have any question about this empathy map. If you have any question, write it in the chat. And also I would like to ask you if you feel quite good to trying to complete it at home. So basically what I suggest you is to take this PDF, this form, okay, this canvas, and try maybe to do that 2 times. So basically you can do 1 times for your main clients, okay, to map your main clients, and the other one to map your main beneficiary, okay? That could be real, or that could be the beneficiary or the client that you would like to have for your business, okay? Okay, so I keep going. If you have any question, always write them in the chat. And I will see them later. And so the next part of this create value of the social business model canvas is the type of intervention, that is basically a description of what the assumed intervention format. So basically the service, the product, the event, the platform. So basically in the offer, it includes radically different interventions. For example, one for the beneficiary and one for customers, as I said before, and all of them must be specified. So basically in this area, in this type of intervention area on your social business model canvas, you should specify everything, okay, every intervention that you do, also if you do more than one things, okay. So for example, you maybe, I don't know, sell a product, but also offer a service, or also, I don't know, do some workshop, okay, to involve people. And you should write on your social business model canvas everything you do, okay. And so the description that you write on your social business model canvas should be very clear and concise, and respond to the question, what are you offering or what are you selling? Okay, it depends from your business idea. And a tip that I would like to give to you is truly to be concrete, because it's very important for the next week, okay, for the part when you're going to write all your cost structure and all your revenue structures, or your economic and financial structure. It's very important to have all your intervention, all your activities right in a very clear way, okay. And then we have the last part of this first area of the social business model canvas, that are the channels. So basically, in the channel part, you should write what channels do you use to reach beneficiaries and customers. And that's why it's very important before to analyze what clients and what beneficiaries you have. Okay, because then you should understand what channels is better to use with them. Okay, and an important thing is that channels may vary according to different moments of the engagement. So basically, there's an awareness part where you can ask yourself, how can I create awareness and curiosity around my product or around my service? Okay, and there's an evaluation part where you can ask yourself how to help the beneficiary or the client to evaluate your offer. Okay, and then there's the purchase part where you should ask yourself how is the purchase or the transaction completed. Okay, and then there are the delivery and the post-sales one. So basically, the delivery part is helps you to I'm sorry, to ask yourself how is the product or service distributed. And the post-sales one is very useful to ask yourself how to engage the target even after the sales. Okay, so how to create a connection with all the beneficiary or the customers, also when they already completed their period with us, okay, with our organization. Okay, so these are basically the part of the create value area. So I don't know if you have any question about that, or if everything's clear. I know today we're seeing like lots of information because the social business model canvas is quite a huge structure, okay, with lots of information inside. But I think it's very important for you to have a general view, I would say, about all the model, all the canvas, and to understand what information should fix inside every area of the canvas. And then in the next weeks, you're going to see better some of them. Okay. So if you have any question, write them in the chat. And so we can now talk about the second area of the social business model canvas, that is the distribute value area. That is composed, as we saw before, by basically three things, okay? That are key activities, key resources, and partners as stakeholders. And a tip that I would like to give to you is that to complete this section, you can answer to this question that are what do we need to do implement or deliver this intervention, with what resources, and who helps us. Okay, they could be three important questions to ask yourself, okay, to improve this area of the social business model canvas. So now we're going to see all of them. So we are going to start with the key activities. Basically, the key activities helps you to define what are the most important activities to make the project works. Okay, so here you should describe all the main activities that you do. So for example, production, research, maintenance, development of platform, development of network, everything you do. Okay, and everything that is necessary for the functioning of the business model. And all these activities must be consistent with the type of intervention defined and with the channel that are used. So the channel that we saw before. And the tips that I would like to give to you about this part is don't go too much into micro planning, okay? But just try to make clear what activities you need to manage to keep the project up and running. Okay, so what is very useful usually is to think about a time period. Okay, so for example, to think about the next 6 months of your organization, of your activities, and to think about all the activities that you should do in the next 6 months. Okay, and so it will be easier to complete the social business canvas, but also then to define all the costs that you're going to have, okay, in the next 6 months, and all the people that should work on it, okay, to develop these activities on the next 6 months. And so it's very important to have a clear ideas about all the activities that you would like to do. And then there are the resources that for sure are very connected to the activities. And basically, to find the key resources, you should ask yourself what are most important internal resources, because here you should write the description of the most important internal resources that are necessary for the functioning of the business model. And they could be very different, I would say, because they really depends on the stage of the project. And both these are already available, and those to be acquired or to be developed in the future I include, okay, because it helps you to understand what you need to present your ideas, okay. And a tips that I would like to say to you is that when we think about key resources, usually we focus on the economic resources, okay, but they're not everything, because to develop your ideas, to develop your activities, okay, so to plan your organization, you don't just need money, but you also need people, okay, so human resources. So they could be physical, intellectual, human, technological, okay, so every technology that you maybe need for develop your business, also economic and financial, okay. And then the last part of the distribute value area is partners and key stakeholders. Maybe I'm not sure about it, but maybe you already see this part on the previous weeks. So basically, partner and stakeholders area helps you to describe the main partners and the main stakeholders that are necessary for the functioning of your business model, so of your activities. And those and details that allows you to optimize resources and activities, develop economies of scale. Okay, so we started today talking about scalability, and it's very important to have the right key stakeholders to do that. Okay, or also to enter a new market or larger your market, and to acquire particular skills and to spread the brand and discover or reach the new customers. So a tips that I would like to give to you is you must also create values for partners, because you should ask yourself, why are we interested in this collaboration, and what happens to them, and what benefits can we guarantee, okay? So this one is still a very important part about how to distribute the value of your organization, of your activities. And then we are going to see the last part, okay, that is capture value. And that, as we said before, is composed by these three things that are cost structure, revenue, and surplus, okay? And yeah, as I said before, you're going to deep this aspect during the next meeting. So today we are just going to see them. So basically, inside the cost structure, you can see what are the main, you can see and you can write what are the main cost items for the project, and you can describe all the main operational that determines the impact of the cost structure once the project is fully operational. And an important thing that I would like to say to you is that in the social business model canvas, you don't have to report the quantitative part, okay, of the organization, because it's not an economic or a financial plan. Okay, you're going to see that the next week, but here you just should write the structure, okay, of the cost. So basically the voice of the cost. So for example, if a very important cost for you maybe is the human resources, okay, so you don't have to write how much you pay the human resources, okay, in your organization, okay, but you just should write human resources payment, okay, so just the voice that explain the other people what is the structure of your cost, okay, what it includes. Okay, I do firstly the revenue, and then we can do the surplus, because I think is maybe a bit clear. So basically in the revenue part, you try to see which revenue model or how do you monetize from your customers, okay? And it really depends from your business model, and the revenue sources could vary. And here you can see some different scenarios to consider. That could be basically the sale of the product and services, the subscription, okay? So basically if you have, for example, I don't know, a blog or a website, okay? The hire, the rent and the lease, the pay-as-you-go, or the commission or brokerage. And a tip that I would like to give you about this part is that you can have more revenue models, okay? So don't try to focus just on one revenue models, because I will say that the 90% of the organization always have more than one revenue model. So this canvas will help you also to think about your revenue model and to think about all the revenue that you have right now, okay, and all the revenue that you maybe could improve in the future, okay. And then the last part of the social business model canvas is the surplus, and that helps you to understand how to reinvest any surplus, okay. If you have it, it's not always possible, okay, but if you have it, it's important to think about how to use that, how to reinvest it. And so basically in general, the surplus could be used to strengthen, I will say, your business, for further help achieve the impact statement of your initiative. This one usually is the most common, okay, way to use that, to use a surplus if you have it. So yeah, you should ask yourself to complete this section. If a surplus were generated in my organization, in my activities, how would you use it? And a tip that I would like to give to you is that any surplus can be reinvested. So basically the driving force for further development of the project, or to support different causes or similar causes. They're all option. There's not a rules about that, I will say. Okay, so we ended the social business model canvas part. I would like to ask you if everything is clear. I know I gave you like a lot of information, okay, and the model is quite big, but you're going to have all the slides, all the presentation, all the canvas, so maybe you can rewatch it later. But if you have any question, you can write on the chat, and maybe I can share different.
N'hésitez pas à poser des questions dans le chat ou même parler à travers de votre microphone. C'est le moment de demander Chiara si vous avez des questions en particulier.
Yeah, so here I put the entire view of the social business model canvas with all the section. You can see it on the share screen. So also, if you would like to write in the chat what of this section are maybe more clear for you, okay? So maybe the value proposition that you saw the previous week, I think it could be maybe more clear for you. And what of these section are more hard for you to understand or to think about that? So there's a question, is it possible to have our explain my address? Okay, so one of you asked me in the private chat, I think, to have another explanation about that and to have more information about that. So I think, yeah, so I think I will be the mentor of two of you, okay? But I think everyone should have a mentor to work with. So basically, I think it's easier than me and Daniela and Christina. We're going to send you all the material and all the canvas, and maybe you should try to start to work on it at home, okay? And maybe to review that with your mentor. I don't know, Daniela and Christina, what you think about that.
Yes, please feel free to further discuss the canvas because this takes quite a lot of work with your mentors, and this is something we would indeed like to emphasize again. Please get in touch with the mentors if you haven't done so far. As Danielle and Chiara also said in the previous sessions, they're really there to help you. So it's really important that you contact them, especially that the summer holidays are approaching. So if you haven't done so yet, then please reach out to them to book your sessions. Danielle.
Yeah, ladies, the business model canvas is something that can help you to think through different iterations of your business even. So for example, if you have different customer segments, you can do one per customer type because your value proposition might be different for each type of customer. Your activities might be different for each type of customer. The way that you make money might be different for each type of customer. So it is an activity that really takes quite a bit of time. I often recommend that you do it with Post-it notes so that you can very easily move things around and swap out different ideas and change things up, because this isn't meant to be static, right? It's going to continue to evolve as you learn more about your businesses. But if you do need other examples of how this can be filled in, there are actually lots of resources also online. If you just do a quick Google search for business model canvas, you'll even come with YouTube videos that give you examples talking through different business models. But as both Chiara and Christina have said, do this with your mentors. That's what they're there for, is really to help you to think about all of these different pieces of your business model, to ask you questions, to interrogate you, to get you thinking about different ways of looking at things. So it's really a resource that you can bring to them as well, and highly recommend that you do so if you haven't already started talking to your mentor in different capacities.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. Thank you, Daniela and Christina. So if you don't have other question, I think I have something for you. So just skip the slide that we saw. So yeah, there's just like a conclusion part. Okay. So now that you saw everything, okay, so how to complete everything of your social business model canvas, you are going to finish your social business model canvas, okay? But always remember, it's not static, okay? It's not a static document, so you can edit and update it anytime. As Danielle was saying before, it's very useful to use post-it or different cards, okay, to complete it, so you can move them and remove them, okay? And so it is quite easier with the post-it. And so I just would like to do a last part of restitution of this section. So today, basically, you have seen how to define your business model. Obviously, as I said before, there are like lots of information, lots of parts. So you just saw a general presentation, and then with your mentors, you could focus on different parts of your social business model canvas. Okay. And for this reason, because there are lots of information that I said before, I think it's very useful for you to summarize the content of the social business model canvas in 3 short sentences. So basically, the first one is, what do you offer and to whom? Okay, and inside this, with these sentences, you can write which intervention do you offer, who are your beneficiaries and customers, and what is your value proposition. Okay. The second sentences will be how do you go to the market. So basically inside you could report which channels do you use to find beneficiaries or to find new customers, and how do you sell your product or your service to them. Okay. And the third, so the last sentences is how do you manage? So basically, who do you collect from and how do you cash and how do you use the surplus? Okay, so when you complete your social business model canvas with your mentors, okay, or alone, and then you saw it with your mentors, I think at the end, okay, of the work, when everything is complete, it's very useful to try to reassume all the information in these 3 sentences, also because you can use it as an exercise, okay, that could help you maybe to find new customers, okay, or new people that are interested in your project or in your organization. So with these 3 sentences, you can also try to do, I don't know, like marketing activities, okay, or to diffuse your business model and your activities to new people, okay. So I think it could be very useful for you.
Chiara, there's a question in the chat that maybe you can elaborate on. So Marlene is asking, why are you calling it social when normally it's just called the business model canvas? Could you just explain briefly the difference between the traditional business model canvas and what has been changed to make it this social business model canvas?
Of course. So I just show you the structure because I think it's easier for you to do that. So, okay, here you can see all the section that we saw this morning. So basically, there's a business model canvas that is quite the same, okay, but it doesn't have some of these sections. So basically, in the business model canvas, you don't have the value proposition. As you can see here, I don't know if it's very clear from the slide, but the value proposition column is like divided in 3 settings. So you can see here in gray these 3 different parts. So basically here in the first part, inside the value proposition, you should write the social value proposition, okay? And then the impact measures that respond to the question, how will you show that you create social impact, okay? And the third one inside the value proposition is the customer value proposition. So what do your customer want to get out of the initiative? So basically, the main difference between a business model canvas and a social business model canvas is not the structure of the canvas, okay? As you said, is right. They're very similar. The focus is that when you complete it, okay, when you use it, okay, with new customers or new beneficiary, it's very important that they can see here in your social business model canvas the impact and the social impact that you would like to diffuse with your organization, that you would like to generate with all your activities. So basically the structure is more or less the same, okay, but it's very important to decline every section of the social business model canvas to show to other people the social impact that you provide in the community, I will say, you work. I don't know if it's clear or if you need other information.
No, I think that's clear. I mean, I think the general takeaway is that, you know, it's just been modified to help you think about it for a social enterprise or for social impact, as opposed to just the traditional business model. So it gives these extra little consideration points so that it's, you know, encompassing these ideas of impact and beneficiaries, whereas the traditional business model didn't think about those things at all.
Yeah, so I wasn't here last week, but maybe Daniela and Christina were. So I'm pretty sure that last week when you saw the value proposition, you saw how to explain to other people, to new customers, the impact and the social impact that you would like to generate in your community, in your organization. So I think that's the point that is important, that yeah.
Yeah, and for those ladies who aren't running a social business, you could just focus on the traditional business model canvas and take out these questions that are related to impact. But I know that most of you are addressing some SDGs within your business model, so there is impact embedded, even if it's just adding employment into your communities. So it just gives you these extra little pieces to think about. Okay, everyone said clear, makes all sense. Good. Thanks, Marlene.
Okay. I think it will be clear. Yeah, maybe it will be more clear next week with the economic and financial part, because you're going to see how the social value that you would like to generate, so how the social value of your activities and of your intervention, okay, will fix better also your cost structure and your revenue structure. And this is very important, because when you would like to maybe to sell some of your activities to people that would like to invest in your organization, okay, it's very important to show them what is the impact and the social impact that you would like to generate and to create in your community, because it helps all the investment people that are interested to invest in projects that develop and create social impact for the community, to be more focused on your project and to be more I would say interested to maybe give you money or invest in your organization.
Great. Yeah, thank you. Ladies, any final questions for Chiara?
Yeah, if there are not other questions, I can stop share the presentation. Maybe if Christina, you would like.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure. Thank you.
And yeah, I just said that at the end of the presentation, you can find my contacts, my email, and my LinkedIn profile. So if you want to write me, to ask me something, just you can absolutely do that.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Chiara. Very insightful, lots of things for us to think about. Ladies, what comes next? So next week, we're going to have our second coaching session. This coaching session is going to be around basic accounting and financial literacy. In my 10 years of working with women entrepreneurs, I know that this is a challenge for most people, you know, whether it's because for years you've been telling yourself that you're no good at maths, or maybe you had a bad teacher at one point in time that put you off numbers forever, or perhaps even you think of yourself as more of a creative and not a numbers person. Your numbers are super important when it comes to business. You do need to understand where the money is going to come from, what the money is going to be spent on. And so next week's session is really going to go into this in a lot more detail and also provide you with a bit of coaching around it to help you boost your confidence when it comes to finances. So we'll be joined by Hina, who was with us earlier. I don't know, I think she might have dropped off, but she was with us earlier for a short bit. And Hina will be our coach next week to take us through this module around finances. Before we say goodbye, just a couple of small reminders that we give you. For next time, definitely start to focus on the business model canvas or the social business model canvas, focusing on the upper part. That's going to help you really think about where your revenue is going to come from. So when you start to think about the activities that you're doing in your business, what is it that you're selling? Who are you selling to? You can start to put prices around that and come up with a revenue model, which we'll talk about further next week. Okay, so really do spend some time on that canvas. If you are stuck at any point, reach out to your mentors or even reach out to Chiara for further questions if you need to, because we want to make sure that you nail this as best as you possibly can. Okay. Next slide, Christina. Great. So just a few final reminders. They're the same that we give you every single week. So please make sure you join our WhatsApp group if you haven't already. All of the sessions and recordings can be found on this Google Drive link. And then finally, let us know about your, oh no, not finally, sorry. Tell us about your opinion today using the form that you use every week. What can we do better? What did you love? What did you not like? It helps us improve the session every time that we run this program, and we'll be running this program again hopefully next year. And then finally, make sure you connect with your mentor. That mentor is there as a resource to you. You are not a burden in any sort of way to that person, so do take advantage of that relationship and that connection to get your questions answered, to get the support that you need, and to really get someone else's eyes on your business so that they can accelerate you as much as they possibly can. Okay. So ladies, without further ado, thank you so much for joining us today. We will see you all again next week, same time, different link. All right, take care.
Thank you.